Alright guys, we're going to start on bag K. Before I get started here, I'm going to show you a couple things I have laid on my workbench, which you guys have already spotted. Scissors. The reason why I got those was I have two pieces of shrink wrap right here. I had to cut the size. And we have a Dremel. Once I get into the bag, I'll explain to you as we go the purpose of these things. So there's got sticky stuff on it. They're having a hard time fitting that bag. I think I'd use them to cut some servo tape. I just got some adhesive on there. Alright, in this bag we've got our front bones. We've got our we've got everything front and rear in here. Alright, we'll start with one and then we'll work our way to everything else. Alright, we're going to open up one and then we're going to use the Dremel. Alright, so according to team drivers, the problem that they're having is the inside here where I'll go ahead and take these out so I can show you what they're going to do. Slid down. I'll go ahead and take these out so I can show you what's going to go on here. This is bag K2 anyhow. So when these go through into the hub, they're going to have a tendency to bind up here and here, especially if you're jumping and stuff and it's at an upper angle and a lower angle. So what we're going to do is, these are aluminum, so we're just going to trim all this stuff back. I just went back and looked at a picture of what the team drivers are doing there, and it's just to give a little bit of distance here because they have a bad tendency to pop off the snap ring that's on these hinge barrels here. So I hope this isn't too loud for you guys because I do not have a mute option on this video platform that I'm aware of. No. So deal with the noise for a few minutes. I'm going to do some grinding and we'll move along. Alright guys, so basically all I did was I took my full-size wheel, not a worn down wheel, and I put it in the opening and I just worked it back and forth until I got the edges worked almost all the way up to the top. I didn't go all the way to the top because I didn't want this to be like a razor edge right here. I don't want to hurt myself later on when I'm doing work to it. So I took it almost all the way to the top, just where the top of it's still rounded. And running the wheel on the inside, it kind of chamfered the insides of the opening towards where it's going to be at. Alright, I did that one. I'm going to go ahead and knock this other one out, and then we'll start doing some assembly. Alright, same thing with that one. Just worked it up. Left just enough material on top to where it's not razor edge. It's got a nice little rounded chamfer. You still see the black paint on there. Cool, cool. And make sure when you're doing that stuff that you have safety glasses on. I'm wearing my eyeglasses, which are impact rated. They aren't sealed around the edges or anything, but they serve the purpose just for little stuff like that. Alright guys, so we've got our left and our right. It's got an L on it, that's got an R on it. Alright, so we've got our baggie here from our 01 bag. Go ahead and take that out. So we've got 2 balls, 2 hinge pins, and 2 hinge pin retaining screws. So we're going to go with, I covered it up, my 2mm. Put me a little thread locker on here because this is going into aluminum. And it looks like we've got our inner and outer hole, and then we've got our, it's like our hinge hole here. So they're wanting it in the middle hole, which would be our outer hole when it's installed on the car. Same thing on the other side. Of course, whenever you're doing this stuff, you make sure you do the same thing on the left that you do on the right. That way you don't end up with some weird camber or toe or anything like that. Steering's always even. Alright, that's on there. Alright, now we got a car. Of course, if you look at the arm, this is the right side, this is the left side. So we're going to find our 12.5 R. So I'm going on this right side right here. What we're going to do is, before we put that in there, remember, hinge pin, we got our Racer's Edge anti-wear grease. And we're just going to put a little film on here. We're not going to goober it up, not make it thick, just nice little film. And we're going to push it through like so. And then we're going to take our little retaining screw. And we're going to put that in the hole right behind where the hinge pin goes, and all that does is it not only does it swell the hole a little bit, squeezes on the end of that rod, but the end of the button head kind of covers the edge of it. Alright, that's nice and smooth. Cool. Alright, then we're going to repeat the process on the other side. Little film of grease. I'm going to push it through. Line the holes up, goes all the way through. I'll take out a little button head screw and we're going to put it right on there. I think this is the first car assembly instructions to where they didn't have the front clip built as one piece and then screwed down to the chassis. Like build the whole section and then screw it down, and then build the whole section and then screw it down, and build this whole section and then screw it down. Very odd to have to put the hubs and everything on after the fact. Alright, move this aside. Alright, so that step's complete. So the next thing we're going to work on is we're going to work on our front diffs here, or our front arms. So, got a piece of shrink wrap right here. Shrink wrap hopefully is big enough. It is not, so I'm going to have to go get some other shrink wrap. So I'm going to stop the video here. We'll start video, I see this is video 12, so we'll start video 13 with these, and then we'll work our way along into the back of the car. So see you in the next one. Alright, now I think I got the right size shrink wrap here, which is going to be these white ones here. You can see the difference in the two sizes. I bought a kit that had a bunch of shrink wrap in it, and I thought the larger size was going to be the right size. It's not, but I really wanted the kit for the small sizes. Bought it at Harbor Freight. Good shrink wrap. Use it on everything. Alright, got my heat gun in here. We're going to take this shrink wrap, and we're going to center it over the barrel, because when it shrinks together it's going to kind of go around the whole thing. I'll turn this on. Alright, when you're done it's going to look like that. So basically all you're doing is you're keeping that ring in there. Alright, do the same thing to the other side. And the rear ones aren't steering ones, so they aren't going to have this double knuckle on here with the barrel on it. Like that. Make sure everything's all nice and free on both. Got no binding. Cool. Alright, now next step also tells me I need to put grease on these balls. So I'm not going to use the black grease. I'm going to use this anti-wear grease that I've been using. And I'm going to put a little bit of a film on there. Reason being is I race off-road, and I don't want gobs of grease holding on to dirt. So if I just put a nice little film on there, it'll lubricate it just enough to where it's not going to let any big chunks get stuck in there and grind it down, because there is sand in our clay around here. Alright, let's move on to the next step, which is K3. This is where we're going to start putting these bad boys together and get them on the car. Alright, scissors. Bag step K3. Oh, and I'm going to try to put this video with the last video. I'm going to see if it'll let me edit them two together. Hopefully so. If it does, then everything will work out really well. Alright. Another teen driver's tip. See these hexes? Those are going to go away. These Exotech hexes, those are what's going on there in place of those. The stock ones just have a pin that holds them on. A slot right there. And these actually have a ring and a set screw in there, so when it goes on, you don't have to worry about the pin falling off when you take your tires off. Take your tires off, then they got a bad habit of just falling off. I had that problem a lot with my other car and went to the Exotechs. And that problem went away real quick. Alright, so we've got our pins, our spacers, we got two nuts, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 the same size longer screw, 1, 2, 3, 4 the shorter screw, 2 pivot balls, and 4 bushings that are all the same size. Then we got left and right hub, we got our steering Ackerman brackets, and then we got a set of 4 bearings. So it's looking like I'm going to go ahead and start with putting these steering blocks on here. So there's a number stamped on top of it. It's going to have the markings. Yep, it's not a number, it's a set of marks. So this is going to be the right hand one. It's going to look like so. So we're going to have 2 of our shorter screws. 2mm. And my Loctite, again, that's going into aluminum. Ooh. Sometimes that stuff comes out real liquidy and it comes out real fast. Right, so let me start with the outside hole first. You can start with either one, but it balances on there a little bit easier for me. Get it started in there real good. Almost all the way down. Don't want to tighten it up quite yet. I want to make sure I get both screws in there and everything lines up before we go any further on that. Alright. Screw went right in. Snug that up. Snug that up. Alright, that's our right side minus the pivot ball. We'll do the pivot ball after we get these mounted up. So this side, there's no markings on top. That's going to go in there like that. Loctite. the hole closest to the center. That one almost all the way down. Tight on that one. Crank both of them bad boys down nice and tight. Alright. Now we got our pivot balls. And they're going to get a nut on the bottom side, which is going to be our 5.5. Let me locate that before I get too much further. There it is. Alright. That's going to go through the top. Get the nut started. Put the 5.5 on there, and then we're going to tighten her down. Make sure you crank those nice and tight. Pivot ball and nut on the other side. Same thing. Oop. Get started. Nut driver. Crank it down. Raw. Just like that. Alright, left, right. Pop our bearings in. There's supposed to be a washer inside. So it's going to be these larger diameter. Spacer. And then we're going to put our dog bone through, like so. All the way in there. We're going to get our Exotech locking hex, and we're going to put it in here. Oh, they sealed the screws into the corner. Huh. Like, why are they not coming out? Because they're sealed in there. Alright, so according to the directions on these, replace the stock axle shim with this one. Okay, so take this orange one out, put the silver one in, then put it back on there. What that's going to do is that's going to change the plunge. Alright, so we're going to put the hex on. We're going to have one of our little pins, our hex pin, going to go through that, through here like so, like that. And then we got our little itty bitty screw here. Let's see what size that is. Probably 1.5. Yep, 1.5. And there again, it's going into aluminum. Put your little data thread locker on that bad boy. then that's going to go in there. And basically all that's doing is that's tightening up on the tip of that pin to keep the pin from sliding out. So now that pin is captive, it's not going anywhere. Alright, so spins nice and free, no problems. That's one side. This other side. Put the bearing on the outside. We're going to take our other silver spacer. We'll put it on there. Oh, bearing first. Silver spacer. And we're going to put both of those through the hub, like so. Put the hex on there, like so. Line up the hole. Put the hex pin in there. Set that down. A little bit of thread locker. Make sure that pin stays centered in there. If it pops out a little bit, you're going to fight like hell trying to put rims on this thing. Alrighty, that one's on there also. Alright, now we're going to start putting the hubs on the car.
We were making faces at each other a few minutes ago. And then she got bored with me.
So we've got the bushings going to go on the inside in here. The bushings going to go on the inside. On the other side. Hold my finger on there. And then we got us some spacers, which will probably be easier to put on once I get all this together. So
Hey, if you're talking to me, I can't hear anything you're saying.
let's turn this thing up just a little bit. So put the dog bone through the hinge hub. I'm holding the bushings in place, trying to get the dog bone into place. And that's going to sit in there like so. Now I'm going to tilt it up. Get a washer. Washer's got to go between the bushing and the hub. Get one of these long screws here. Thread locker. Find the hole in the middle. There it goes, and find the screw hole. There it goes. I'm going to finger tight that side. I'm going to take my next one, and it has to go on top of the bottom bushing. Thread lock around the next screw. Get it in the hole. Find its way through everything, and then find the screw hole again. Alright, that was easier than expected.
Okay, well, I needed to fix my dinner, but I stopped. You had her, me facing her, and if I would have walked away, she would have fell. So, if she wanted to talk to me now,
Alright, and those get pretty damn tight. Alright, hinges beautifully, beautifully. Alright, so now I'm going to take my where's the right one? There it is. So I've got my turnbuckle. So turnbuckle is going to be the A turnbuckle for the right side, and it's going to snap down.
I'm just gonna go and eat this dog's ass.
There,
I'm tired of it.
and I've got the
What you doing? What are you doing?
I've got that turnbuckle inner cup in the wrong place. I need to tighten up one side of this turnbuckle to get it to face the right way. Alright. And it snaps onto the Ackerman plate. There it goes. Alright, so steering on one side's hooked up. And then we need to put the it didn't show. Oh, it does. It does over here. It shows putting them on. That would have made that a little bit easier. But we got these. So we're going to line our notch up, make sure it's facing the same direction as that one. And these are your camber cups. Alright, there we go. So now that side's complete. One side there. So since it told me to do that earlier, I'm going to go ahead and do this and get it knocked out. Got my notch on the rod facing the right way. There. And there. I'm going to take this, put this through. Most of the way. We'll put our sleeve bushings in. Lower. the upper one. And make this for people with normal size hands. Flip it over a little bit so I can see what I'm doing here. Other side went on so easy. Come on, just go in a hole. There. Damn. That thing had to fight me. Oh, the other one came out and I gotta put it back in. Alright, now that one's in. Alright, feed this bad boy back in here. And get the bone cup and everything put together. Alright, we got our top spacer here. That's gonna go in there. Kinda. Stay there, little buddy. Alright, go get some thread locker on that screw. We'll go through this bushing, through that spacer. I'll pop out the cup in the middle. There it goes. Alright. Start that screw as soon as I can get the hole started. Yep, there we go. Alright, get a little bit of thread locker on that screw. We're going to get this spacer and we're going to go on top of the bushing on the bottom side. Helps if you shift everything down to where it will go in there. Going through the bushing, through the spacer, through the spacer, through the use my hex over here to kind of line that spacer up. There it went. Alright, that's in there. I got 3 minutes. Alright, so we're going to tighten that up. Tighten that up. Really tight. And then we'll get our other steering. Well, there again, the wing of this is going to face forward. This is B. So this one's going to go on the other side, and of course the cup is facing the right direction on this side. I don't know why I built the other one facing the same way. And that's going to snap on to here. Alright. Now, nice and free. Sweet. Alright. So, that's going to be it for that video. I think next is going to be the rear of the car. Yep, that's what it looks like. So I'm gonna wrap this video up, start uploading it, and then we will go on to the next video. I'm gonna try to merge this one with the last video, so it'll be a 45-minute video instead of a 30-minute video. So if not, there'll be a short video than this one. Cool. See y'all next.